Shoot some stylish shots, talk to the people who built the 64, and burn some racing rubber over in Gay Paris, right here on Cybernet. What ho, chaps! For the more refined amongst you, here's the Gene Machine, an adventure game set in the heady days of the British Empire. Piers Fanshawe is a secret agent and explorer for Queen and Country.
Ah, London. The hub of polite society, the very cornerstone of civilization, eh, Mossop?
Right you are, sir.
And it's here where Piers and his faithful servant get a hot tip-off and begin their quest for the evil Dr. Dinsey, maker of the Gene Machine.
Dr. Dinsey intends to create an army of horrific creatures which he can use to take over the world.
This all seems a bit far-fetched to me.
I am living proof of his madness. He took a normal alley cat and combined it with a human being to make me.
Far-fetched indeed. Now you have to guide the pair around London, uncovering clues and picking up useful objects along the way, from Buckingham Palace...
Halt! Who goes there? Identify yourself or be shot!
To the squalor of Whitechapel, it's a real sightseeing tour.
Oh, what's that dreadful smell, Mossop?
Me, I expect, sir.
No, I mean that other dreadful smell.
But you're taken further afield than Britain's capital, to the moon in fact, and a submarine, and Atlantis. Wherever will it end? And what's a man to do to save the British Empire?
Right, Mossop. Let's search this iceberg for clues to Captain Nematode's whereabouts.
The Gene Machine has hundreds of locations to explore, and its original concept will appeal to all you fine citizens with a sense of moral decency.
It's locked.
Now, for puzzle experts comes Safecracker, an adventure game which will challenge you to the not-so-legal limits. Crab & Sons, a cracking firm of safe makers, has sent you, their new top security expert, to break into their headquarters to prove you're up to the job. The mission begins in a phone box, where you're told of your assignment.
Hello, it's Crab here. You made it, good. Now, don't say anything, just listen.
But remember, if you aren't inside the building within 10 minutes, you'll be arrested by the police. The 50-room mansion has everything to explore, from palatial drawing rooms to offices. Your job is to pick up clues scattered over the building, and clues hidden inside 35 safes, which have complicated conundrums to crack. This will all lead you to your ultimate challenge, the Master Safe. Safecracker is the first game to use QuickTime VR, which allows you a 360-degree view of your surroundings. Very useful in this game, as it lets you pick up objects and examine them from every angle. It's a clever way of stitching 2D pictures together to give them that velvet 3D touch. The game's quite a challenge, but remember, if you want to make your clients feel safe, you have to be a master safecracker. Storytelling used to be confined to bedtime, but with the rise of the CD-ROM, are Mum and Dad destined for the scrap heap? There's a huge range of storybook titles available, but could parents be replaced by this?
Good evening, I'm Simon, your storyteller.
Once upon a time, in a poor kingdom, lived a young king.
Do these familiar words and the rise of talking computer books mean that kids will soon be learning to read from a screen rather than a book?
Who had a beautiful daughter.
The Tale of Peter Rabbit.
Many traditional favorites like Beatrix Potter have appeared on CD. Some of these programs feature a choice of languages and encourage the viewer to read along.
On the way home, Grandma was tired. Hallo, ich heiße Little Critter. Willkommen bei Living Books.
And can even explain certain words.
The beehive is the bees' home. It's where they live.
To encourage curiosity, clicking on the pictures can trigger some magical surprises.
Daisy, 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 you drive me crazy. You drive me crazy. Daisy, 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 ooh, you look so fine. You look so fine. Daisy, Daisy, you know you drive me crazy. Daisy, Daisy, won't you be mine? Oh, won't you be mine?
Electronic books like Winnie the Pooh are given a new dimension with the addition of several brain-teasing games.
Christopher Robin is looking for some toys to play with. He has room in his bag for 6 toys. Can you help me find the ones he's looking for?
These games encourage lateral thinking and are often variations on traditional games like hide-and-seek or slide puzzles.
Terrific.
Hobbies like gardening are also suggested.
You're very good. Let's do it again. Again.
But when it's sleepy time, a computer can't put you to bed. Wish you pleasant dreams? Or keep the monsters in the cupboards.
Good night, and pleasant dreams.
Paris, the sightseeing, the shopping, the architecture. But France's capital city isn't all frog's legs and escargot, you know. Somewhere at a posh hotel in the city centre, a programming team was giving journalists a sneak preview of their new racing game, Burning Road. And never one to turn down an opportunity to get out and about for the good of the programme, I was there to try it out. Burning Road has been developed by French company Toka, and it's their first project for the PlayStation. But another racing game? Speed fans may already have Ridge Racer, so persuading them to buy this one is going to be tough.
I think people who has bought Ridge Racer onto the PlayStation is looking for arcade feeling. And into Burning Road, we have put a lot of arcade feeling, but we put also a lot of high-speed sensation. So I think that people who love Ridge Racer will love a lot more Burning Road.
And it's this arcade feel which everybody is getting excited about. So how did Toka do it?
That's because we have a high frame rate.
Yep, Burning Road has an amazing 30 frames per second, and the graphics have been specially designed with high color definition to give that classic arcade look and feel. The big, rugged vehicles race across a track of many different terrains, and it makes for an exhilarating ride. You can choose between 4 cars, each of which has its own characteristics. And the track really is something else. Look at this one for the nighttime scene, complete with pouring rain and lightning for real atmosphere. In fact, I like it so much, I think I'll watch the replay. Toka are pleased with the finished result. Above all, Toka say they're particularly proud of the playability. As we all know, it's all too easy to improve the graphics, but perfecting that addictive gameplay is the toughest challenge of all. Usually a game of this quality only comes from a large software house like Electronic Arts or Virgin. This French company's achievement is therefore all the greater, as they had just 4 members on their team. So, after trying it out ourselves, we reckon PlayStation owners should be eagerly awaiting this latest attempt to burn rubber, arcade style.
Friends and fans of Anna Elk Moon, one of the Southwest's most celebrated potters, are gathering here outside of her home in Santa Vera to pay their respects.
So begins Elk Moon Murder, the latest attempt to put you in control of a movie-like story. But this time you're a detective in New Mexico, not a hero saving the universe.
The player, instead of just reading a mystery, they are able to actually participate. We see this as a cross between Tony Hillerman and Agatha Christie.
I've already heard from the governor's office, the honchos in the legislature, and the regional director of the FBI. Everybody wants answers.
And that means you putting all the clues together in a game where one of over 50 characters is your man or woman. Just who did Miss Moon see that fateful night, and why did they steal an ancient artifact?
Oh, and by the way, where were you between 10 and 2 a.m. on the night in question?
You think I could have been involved? How positively wicked.
Do you believe her? You've only got 5 days to find out. Everything you do takes time, whether it's checking witnesses' alibis or ordering up a lab analysis on something found at the scene of the crime. So check too many bad leads and you'll be taken off the case. Trying to do her job just as efficiently is a director who can read one of those big game scripts without getting completely lost.
Action!
Before I do a day of shooting, I have the entire game in my head. I know not only how each video image is going to work, but how the video image is going to look once it's imported into the game on the monitor.
I'm getting a vision. I'm seeing Anna involved with a young man who is jealous.
I was home in bed by 12.
But why does it have to look and feel like an average US straight-to-video thriller? Carefully plotted though it is, Elk Moon is nowhere near as good as Spycraft, another interactive video-based adventure from the same company. Creating tension while at the same time letting a player discover the story by making their own decisions is a problem that few have solved. It just goes to show that it's not so much the idea, but how you go about doing it that really counts.
Now, I told him you two were getting very close.
Now it's time to find out this week's top 5 multimedia packages. At 5, and still our best friend, is the perfect solution to keeping a pet. Without the mess, it's those dogs. Taking a spin round the universe and landing not quite so successfully this week at 4 is the stargazing guide Redshift 2. Climbing quickly up the charts, it's those endearing little beings who look like blueberries. Yes, it's the Zombinas on their logical journey at 3. Still in there, but diving to the number 2 spot is the encyclopedia package with all the answers in Carter 96. And straight in at number 1 is the graphics package that lets you make fun of everything and anything, Kai's Power Goo. Whether a game's in black and white or in colour, some titles are becoming a little bit too gory for their own good. Take away the nasty bits and what have you got?
What is this? Wow.
In Resident Evil, you're part of a special forces group on the hunt for its missing members. Chased into a building by something horrible, the search begins.
Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
No sooner have you walked through a few rooms when a pool of blood is found. The house isn't as safe as it first seemed.
Jill, see if you can find any other clues.
Violence in games never used to be a problem when consoles and computers could only manage a few crudely coloured dots to suggest a scene. But we're now at a point where the amount of blood in some titles has become its main selling factor. Hey, get off my leg! So for all its hype, we think Resident Evil leaves a lot to be desired, and that's not just because we want to be different. For something that's supposed to be so realistic, the character animation is stiff and limited. Try collecting an object and one moment it's there, the next, it's gone. What a cheat! And then again, between zapping a few zombies, most of your time is spent walking around doing nothing. Some might say it's tension-building stuff, but we reckon the wait while data is loading as you move between locations is plain unexciting. Another game riding on the wave of controversy over violence is Quake. However, unlike Resident Evil, non-stop action in a highly realistic environment makes up a lot of its appeal. id, the company behind Quake, usually give away demo versions of their games which only contain a few levels to get people interested. Unfortunately for them, interest was so high that someone managed to steal the game's almost completed code and put it on the internet. Anyone with a fast modem could download it without paying id a single buck. The very same thing had happened with their earlier effort, Doom 2. Violence in video games has been with us since the start, and however much we'd like to complain, Resident Evil and Quake are going to sell very well. If software houses can make money from something, they'll keep on doing it. How gory should the industry be allowed to get? From its first showing to its eventual launch, the Nintendo 64 has been wowing just about everyone who manages to get their hands on the technological breakthrough. Part of its success is down to Nintendo's partnership with Silicon Graphics, whose experience in high-speed, high-quality computer graphics hardware is second to none. But there is a bit of a difference between making a $60,000 workstation and making a console.
It's actually way more fun than designing a workstation or supercomputer. The reason why is in a game system like Ultra 64, no one tells you, well, you've got to build a workstation that has these standards and these layers in there. They basically said build the highest performance system you can for under $250.
It might only be on sale in Japan at the moment, but Nintendo claimed that in just 4 weeks they've sold over 800,000 consoles. If it was anyone else, they'd be very happy, but as always, these guys have a long-term view.
Anybody can sell new hardware to a few people. There's always that market, but we're looking at not just selling 1 million units. We're looking at an installed base in North America and in Japan in the tens of millions of hardware units.
However, everyone else isn't so sure. Part of the doubt lies with the fact that the 64-bit machine uses cartridges, not CDs. Cartridges aren't easy to make, but the designers weren't just out to cut down on the now well-known problem of loading times.
The other reality of this is that the technology that we put into the Ultra 64 from Silicon Graphics, it has this 3D graphics engine in it, and that creates all the pictures in real time, and it needs to be fed at a very high rate, and really only cartridges can feed it at this kind of rate.
Mario 64 is being hailed as the greatest video game ever made, but other Nintendo titles on show aren't quite as impressive. Mind you, look at how the first 32-bit games compare to the ones out now, and it's easy to see why we think the best is yet to come. Programmers, like anybody with something unfamiliar, are just going to have to practice a bit before the quality goes through the roof.
We've built a tremendous amount of headroom into the technology, so I think games developers will be are just starting to touch the power that exists in the platform now, and they'll be able to take advantage over that over the next couple of years. This is just the first step.
The Nintendo 64 is without doubt more powerful than anything that has gone before it, but the games industry has changed a whole lot while it's been in development. The best technology has never meant a guaranteed hit, but Nintendo knows how to play the game better than anyone else. Let the battle commence. I don't know, can't these little computer people ever get on with each other? Luckily, it's all sweetness and light here in TV land, but maybe you can send us some ideas by letter or email to make our connections even clearer. We're hitting the accelerator and disappearing into the distance now with some more Burning Road. Buckle up.